All right, just take a moment and look around you. Whatever room you find yourself in, just let your eyes take in your surroundings and do your best to just notice. As you settle in here, can you notice everything around you? Specifically, that's the color red. Notice everything that's red. I'm going to give you just a couple seconds. Got it? Okay, now let's all close our eyes just for a second. And with your eyes closed, I want you to do your best to name 5 items in your head that aren't the color red, but are the color green. Got it? Okay, I'm going to give you just a couple seconds to do this as well. Name as many items as you can that are green. It's tricky, right? Because the truth is, when we're looking for something, it's so much easier to notice, isn't it? What if we could take that principle and apply it to our spirituality? Because that's what the spiritual practice of Examen is for. As we look back or examine our lived experience and we seek out the moments we have where we can see divine activity, we're way more likely to notice God's presence in our lives moving forward. And on the other hand, the more that we can notice the things that take away or subtract from our ability to see God, the more we can begin to eliminate everything that isn't helpful. If you find yourself compelled or inspired by that idea, and you have a longing to notice the ways that God's active and working in your life right now, would you close your eyes one more time with me? Let's settle in this time for a few minutes and just take a couple of deep breaths as we center ourselves. Let's co-journey with God's Spirit and travel inwards as we listen to the words of this psalm. The psalmist says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me and lead me in the way everlasting." So let's do that. Let's take a moment to look back at this past week. This can be overwhelming or hard initially, so just be patient with yourself and just try and remember some of what you experienced. Specifically, where did you notice God's presence? And because that can be kind of an ambiguous question, what moments did you experience love or peace or forgiveness or a sense of awe? Because we can name those things as God's presence. Take a minute and name a couple specific memories in your head. Where did you notice God's presence recently? Before we move on, as I'm talking, just express a silent word of gratitude to God for God's presence in your life. Now think about the moments you felt far from God, or in other words, what prevented you from experiencing love, peace, and flourishing, all the stuff we just thought about and reflected on. These aren't moments to shame us or guilt us into right living, but rather to look honestly about the things that keep us from living out of our true place of belovedness and belonging. So where did you feel far from God recently? take this sacred moment and confess the ways that we've relied on anything other than God and receive the forgiveness that's so freely available to us. This is what it says in the book of Hebrews. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne, not of judgment, but of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. We started out this practice by saying, when you're looking for something, it's easier to notice. So let's do that. Let's go into our weeks looking for God's activity in our lives in every moment so that we can continually live more into our belovedness and belonging. Amen.